Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sports GI Network. And today in this video, I'm recapping this past weekend's UFC Fight Night from Atlanta, Georgia. We may even feature Kamaru Usman taking on Joaquin Buckley, and and sorry, also co-main event of Rose Namajunas and Miranda Maverick. And I'll just talk about the main card and some prelim highlights. We'll go from here because this main card was not a great main card. The main card sucked. It was terrible. Gotta keep it 100. Oh my god, there were some awful performances, low level. Some guys look super low level. Some of these fights look so low level. So, oh my goodness, man. And it just, yeah, this was not. I mean, I was trying to recap to watch some of these fights again, so I can have better memory. But man, it was a struggle before recording this video, watching these fights. Doesn't help. I barely got any sleep at all. I can't go back. I'm off today's recording this video, but man, these fights were terrible, man. Terrible, terrible. But I do want to mention one guy in the prelims who had a highlight knockout who's undefeated. I want to shout him out real quick. Malcolm Wellmaker, 10-0 from Augusta, Georgia, fighting in Augusta or Savannah. He's from Georgia, fighting in Atlanta. I know he's not from Atlanta, but he's from somewhere in Georgia. Gets a freaking a beautiful right hook knockout with Chris Moutinho in the second round, in the first round, 2 minutes in the first round. What an impressive knockout that was! That was a beautiful right hook knockout, flatline Moutinho. That was impressive. Malcolm Wellmaker, 10-0. Gotta give him a shout there. And then of course everyone's talking about the Paul Craig and Rafael Bellatello fight where where Paul Craig is on his back and he throws an up kick as Bellatello is on his knees and it kicks on Rafael and hits him and which is illegal. You cannot throw a knee on a ground opponent, and technically he was grounded. He was still since he was on his knees. Bellatello was grounded, and Paul Craig just threw the kick unintentionally, caught him, and then at first he's like, "Ref, what?" And then as soon as his head hits the canvas, he goes out like this. Then he's like, "Ugh," and then he's like, the ref's telling him it's over, and he's freaking like having like a panic attack. Well, not a panic attack, but he's like kind of like almost like starting to fight the ref and stuff. And the visual of it just looks so fucking it just looks so weird. It's hard not to laugh. Like it looks like he was acting. It looks like this dude was acting, and I ain't the only one. A lot of fighters felt this way. Now you have plenty of people, fighters and other people who feel like it was not acting. It was legit, but I struggled. When I first saw this, I thought this motherfucker's acting. That's what I thought. But hearing other people's opinions and rewatching it, it's like here's where I am. I am 55% this guy was acting. There's a part of me that thinks that because of the way, because after he wakes up and then he just immediately try and grab the ref, almost like he's trying to take him down. Like guys when they're concussed or knocked out and the ref stops it, they try to wrestle the ref. That's what it looked like to me. Like he gets up, he's like, "Oh, he's fine. It looks fine," and just wrestles the ref. It looks kind of like acting. That's why I kind of lean towards he might have been embellishing it, trying to get a DQ victory with Paul Craig. But that's why I'm leaning towards that. However, I understand people say the brain, when you get knocked out, the brain makes you do weird stuff, and it might have happened here with Rafael Bellato might have he might have been, the kick. He might have been concussed, and maybe he woke up and just was acting weird after getting dropped. Because when he fell, his back of the head did hit the canvas kind of hard. Maybe after getting hit the up kick and going, "Ref, what the ref, what the fuck?" It looked like the fact of getting kicked, hit with the kick, and then falling his head in the back of the canvas might have caused him getting concussed right there. So, and maybe that's when he was knocked out because of both effects, especially the back of the head and the canvas, and that's where everything played out, which is a fair point. but at the same time that up kick wasn't exactly hard. It wasn't the hardest hitting up kick. I've seen guys get hit with worse up kicks and survive. So it's kind of I think he might have been embellishing it. That's just me. Now I think the more I think about it, I think he was embellishing, and I think that's just my opinion. I agree. It was great. It was towards the end of the first round, I believe. So it's kind of like it wasn't like it's kind of hard for people to say, oh, he was losing. You want to take an easy victory. It is kind of hard to necessarily 100% say that, considering he still had 2 more rounds. But I also get what others are saying, that take advantage, and if you can bend the rules, why not? Like a lot of fighters do. And I am kind of leaning towards the way, like I said, 55% towards he embellished that, he was acting. 45% that was legit, but I don't know. I'm just giving my take. Like I said, I lean towards he was acting. If he was acting legitimately, he should be cut from the UFC. Cut, get rid of him. He don't belong in the UFC. That especially if it's true. I hope he gets knocked down, gets released. If he was embellishing acting, because that's a joke and disgraceful to MMA and to the sport. It makes the UFC look terrible if that's true. It's like to have guys have him pretend to be like a soccer player, like trying to flop and sell an injury or something bad happening. Actually, hang on. I forgot to take my TV's on. I just saw the replay of that. Yeah, it was hard. Nah, it was somewhat hard. It was a hard up kick, but it wasn't like it was. There was definitely good impact, to be fair, but it wasn't exactly like the crazies. I've seen guys get hit with worse and keep fighting. So yeah, 55% towards him, like acting. 45% might be legit, like knockout or sequence. But if he was acting, it's true. He deserves to get cut. Fuck him. That's true. Anyway, I'm gonna transition to the main card. I'm not gonna spend too much time on these fights. This is gonna be a quicker video than usual. Just FYI. Alonzo Menifield, Oumar Sy loses. He's no longer undefeated. This fight was terrible. This was trash. Trash ass fight. Oh my gosh, this is boring. Both guys, they didn't. Menifield did enough to win, but man, he did not do himself well. He's ranked in top 15. And I used to like Alonzo Menifield. Alonzo Menifield coming up used to have a lot of pretty exciting fights. Recently, he's doing a lot of decisions. Not exactly the most entertaining, and this fight was really not entertaining at all. This fight was hard, a real struggle to get through. This fight almost put me to sleep. I'm not kidding you. I almost fell asleep watching this fight. This was bad, man. Oumar Sy looked terrible. He looked horrible, man. Undefeated, no more. 11-1 now, and Manfield did not look good. I mean, I don't know, man. Manfield's got to fix some things, because if he doesn't, he's not going to last long in the rankings, since he's ranked number 15. Mansur Abdul-Malik beats Cody Brundage via decision. This fight was also like terrible, mostly not as bad as the Menifield C fight, but man, this fight was boring at times, especially early on. As hang on, so you're yelling. Hang on. Hang on. Pause real quick. Never mind. Thought I heard like yelling, but anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the Malik and Brundage fight was almost as boring as the Manfield C fight, but at least Malik in the second round did some things, actually landed some decent shots. I had 1-1 going to round 3, and then the crowd was really booing in the first 30 seconds of round 3. They started going crazy. They actually started being wild, throwing strikes. Malik dropped Brundage with like a kick. I think it was like a body kick, not a body. Forget what he dropped. He dropped Brundage, and then he rushes in and like he acts in a head clash and freaking drops Brundage, and then the fight got stopped. At first it looked like it was a TKO for Malik, but then the referee, because I think Georgia has the new rules where you can check replays on things to see if it's accidental foul or not. They determined it was an accident head clash that led to Brundage getting dropped and getting down in pounds. So they decided to instead go to the judge's decision, because the first 2 rounds already passed by. And that happens in MMA, where if you're more than halfway towards, if more than halfway of fights has been completed, And let's say you have something like this, they can go to a judge's decision, and from there, if they want in certain states, and that's what happened here. And Malik won, and it's like, and Malik, it's weird because the third round only lasted 39 seconds, and yet he did win that 39 seconds of round 3, but at the same time, it's 39 seconds. It's we're really gonna use that to score the fight. What happened in 39 seconds? It's not enough time. It's like I'm just thinking about that. 39 seconds to determine a fight to score around. Like he won 39 seconds and that's what got him the victory. But actually, let me check the scorecards real quick. I think some of the judges might have gave the fight. I think someone gave Malik the first 2 rounds. I gave Brundage round 1, but let me just double check now that talking about the fight. I gotta be quick because I really don't want to talk about the rest of this card. Except for the main event. Even whatever. I'll talk about it when I get there. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Give me one moment. Hurry up. This phone. Yeah, like one judge did give Abdul-Malik 2 rounds. The first 2 rounds. Every other judge gave Brundage round 1. Yeah, so yeah, I agree. I agree. The judge's scorecard. I agree with it being 1-1, and to me, it should have been no contest. At the end of the day, I'm sorry for being slow and dragging this segment out longer than it should be. It should have been no contest. This should not have been a judge's decision because you only had 2 rounds completed, and then the accident, and then a headbutt. No contest would have been appropriate. It's unfair. Cody Brundage, he loses that way, and Malik gets a victory he didn't deserve because of an accident. Even though he did well 39 seconds in round 3, but 39 seconds, that's not enough time to turn it around. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, no contest should have been. I think that's how it should be, and that's how these situations should be. It shouldn't be freaking like victories because this wasn't happening. If I'm a fighter, all I have to do is, quote unquote, accidentally commit a foul to the point where my opponent can't continue. And then if I win 30 seconds of a round and I win 1 round, I win the fight. You don't want that. You do not want that happening. So yeah, it should have been no contest. And hopefully they change the rule. Hopefully they might just have to change that rule because I feel like if they don't, that this might be that stuff like that might happen. Anyway, I chose it from that fight to Marcelo Bellos versus Cody Garbrandt as Hassan Bellos wins 29-28. Right scorecard. Cody Garbrandt won the first round. Barcelos in rounds 2 and 3 was able to close distance, get takedowns, mix things up, and land some good shots on Cody Garbrandt. Now round 3, Cody Garbrandt has moments, but Barcelos did more, especially with takedown, and I think he went for a submission attempt, if I remember correctly, but didn't get it. And did enough to win. And Cody Garbrandt, man, he won round 1, but this one thing he did, he dropped Barcelos, and instead of trying to go for a finish, do more damage, he fucking showboats. Instead of possibly pointing out Barcelos or doing enough damage to get a 10-8 to where if he gets a 10-8 and loses the next 2 rounds, it's still a draw, not a loss. But yeah, he freaking showboats. And Cody Garbrandt, man, this guy, Cody Garbrandt, man, this dude's from where he was at the end of 2016, being Dominic Cruz and one of the big upsets in UFC history, to where he is now. It's been one of the great drop-offs or fall-offs in UFC history, man. This guy, first of all, I never thought he was that good to begin with. Never was the biggest Cody Garbrandt fan. I feel like he got fortunate to be part of Team Alpha Male, a gym that Dominic Cruz had been beating up their fighters for like almost 10 years at that point. And they have been some of their fights have had training camps preparing for Dominic Cruz that it was the perfect way for him to get ready for Dominic Cruz, especially coaches who would coach their guys against Dominic, and they were able to find a perfect game plan for him, and he was able to have a great performance. But that's to me how Cody Garbrandt became champion because in my opinion, if Cody Garbrandt had not trained Team Alpha Male, let's say was at another gym and got the Cruz fight, he does not beat Dominic Cruz. And to me, Cody Garbrandt, he I mean, he's got a weak chin. Yeah, he's got good hands, but he does but that's all he relies on. He barely throws kicks. He doesn't use his wrestling when he should. Cody Garbrandt is not a good fighter. Barcelos did enough to win. And part of me thought Cody had a chance to win, but I don't know why I picked Cody Garbrandt. I think I might have picked him. I might have been convinced by watching a bedtime and May video before making my prediction to pick Cody Garbrandt, and that was a mistake. Plus, I thought Barcelos being older. I thought, well, he's older. Cody Garbrandt's not paying Talbot. But then I should have known it was Cody Garbrandt. I should have picked Barcelos just because Barcelos, he's older, is still a good fighter, and Cody Garbrandt's not the guy who we think he is. But yeah, Barcelos wins. Transition from that to Edmen Shahbazyan getting the decision victory over Andre Petroski. This fight was not that great. Had some decent moments in the third round, and Shabazian did land some good body shots. The Petroski landed some good body shots in the second round. Edmen Shahbazyan looked all right. He looked solid. Looked decent. I mean, Shabazian at one point was ranked in the top 15, maybe top 10. We thought he was the golden boy of the middleweight division, but then went on a losing streak and then won a fight, lost another fight. And he's bounced back. He's won 2 in a row now. And give him credit. He did decent in his body shots. He didn't gas out like I thought he would. And he broke Petroski's arm. He landed a kick that thing Petroski blocked, and it looked like his arm got broken because he didn't throw anything from that arm again. But yeah, Edmen Shahbazyan had a decent performance, and he's on a win streak now. I believe he's won 2 in a row, so good for him. Well, I mean, who knows if Edmen can turn around? Because I think Edmen's only 29, or how old is he again? Edmen Shahbazyan is 20. No, he's 27. Oh wow, I thought he was. Oh wow, he's younger than I thought. So hey, he can turn around. He's 27. Hey, maybe it's the beginning of an Edmen Shahbazyan run. I doubt it, but we'll see. But yeah, good perform. Yeah, I mean, he did all right, but the fight sucked. And then we go to the co-main event from here: Rose Namajunas and Miranda Maverick. This was not that bad. It actually was entertaining at times, and it's surprising because people, shit on women's MMA for being boring, which it usually is. But this has moments. I thought Miranda won the first round because I thought Miranda outlanded Rose and had a more impactful shot, especially she did wobble Rose, where Rose kind of fell but got up immediately to where you can arguably call a knockdown. And then she landed good body kicks. Miranda did on Rose. I thought round 1 was clear Rose's. Round 2 is you can argue Miranda because Rose Namajunas does get a takedown on Miranda and does go for a naked choke, and it looks like it was almost in. It might have been in briefly, or maybe not, but it was close to getting in. Then Miranda's able to get out and be able to get an arm triangle on her Rose Namajunas. That for most girls, if Miranda gets that arm triangle, they're probably gonna tap out or get choked out. But Rose did a good job defending it somehow. It was tight, and Miranda did land some good punches in the final 12 seconds to finish that round. But I think I had Rose win because I thought Rose in the striking early in round 2 did well there and had a lot of control time and did go for a submission and almost had it on Miranda. I know Miranda did have the submission on Rose, but I feel like the submission, she did have it, but I feel like what Rose did enough to win round 2. But I also understand why you give to Miranda the second round because of the submission to him, and in fact she actually got the submission. But I feel like the punches Miranda landed in the end of round 2 weren't exactly like devastating enough to where it could steal the round after Rose escaped the arm triangle. But I also understand why some people gave Miranda round 2. But I thought Rose did after round 2. And then round 3, clearly was Rose. It was her best round. She dropped Miranda with left hook, dominated, won that round clearly. As Rose is on a win streak now, you could probably give Rose Alexa Grasso or maybe Natalia Silva in the title eliminator. Actually, no, I take that back. What am I saying? No, me on Fleur rematch. Might as well do that because Natalia Silva should fight for the belt next. She should not fight anyone else but for the world title in women's flyweight. Even if she has to wait for Shevchenko and genuinely super fight if they do make that. But yeah, good victory for her. Now the main event, Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. As Kamaru Usman wins Yan's decision, I think 2 of the 3 judges gave it 48-47 to Usman. I can understand why you give round 4 to Joaquin Buckley. Now this, before I talk about that, I just want to say this fight, Joaquin Buckley's takedown defense was terrible, man. I said in my preview video that if Kamaru Usman can take him down, he would have a lot of success because I said when Kobe Covington took him down twice in Joaquin's last fight, and Kobe Covington and it took Joaquin a little bit to get up. He didn't get up immediately. It took him a while for him to get up from Kobe Covington, especially that second takedown he got on him, where Kobe was on top of him for like 45 seconds to like a minute. And I thought, man, Kamaru Usman is stronger and a little bit and bigger than Kobe. If he can get tops on you, you're gonna have a harder time getting up than versus Kobe Covington taking you down, getting top position. And that's what happened. Kamaru Usman that first round gets a beautiful takedown, timed it very well, takes him down, and does decent ground and pound, decent to the point where Buckley got cut. And but then rounds 2 and 3, Usman takes him down and just holds him down. And but it doesn't. I mean, he looked good, but he didn't. He drew shots, but it wasn't exactly the most impressive thing. I mean, I'll give him credit for being able to wrap his legs around Joaquin's legs like the Dagestanis do to hold him down. That was impressive. And there was one point where they're near the fence and like Kamaru like dragged his leg, drag Joaquin's leg to away from the fence to we can control him better, and so Joaquin can't use the fence to get up. That was impressive, but Kamaru looked good considering he had been on a losing streak and he hadn't fought in over a year, almost 2 years he hadn't fought, and he had decent moments in this fight. He had good moments. One thing about I want to give Kamaru credit for is I feel like his head movement was solid. I don't know if I'm giving him too much credit or not giving Joaquin enough blame for being too wild with strikes because there are a lot of times where Joaquin would just barely miss Usman. Usman just get out of the way. I don't know. Part of me felt like that was Usman with good head movement, but you also may argue Joaquin was getting sloppy with strikes, and that's why. Because even though Joaquin did land a good, in the striking exchange, Joaquin did land a decent amount of strikes, and Kamaru and he clearly was the better striker because he did land punches on Usman. But I also thought, especially in the early rounds, Usman just got out of a lot of like dangerous shots from Joaquin at times. And I feel like that's not being talked about enough. But man, Joaquin, what's frustrating about this fight is that Joaquin in the 5th round gets up, stubs a lot of takedowns from Kamaru and does a good job of defending takedowns. Whereas the first couple rounds, he got taken out at ease by Kamaru Usman. It was these shots that outside of the first round, like rounds 2, 3, and 4, it's a lot of the shots he landed. It's like, damn, that easy. It looked too easy for Usman to take Joaquin down. And it looked like Joaquin didn't do anything to fight the takedown in terms of like techniques, like to do things to like keep it to sprawl out. And even when he got taken down, he looked like he was just comfortable in takedown. Like there were times where he was like laughing, smiling, it's like it's like doing things that's like, Joaquin, try to get up. I understand you don't want to tire yourself out because you don't want to tire yourself out. You can't just explode early on. I understand that, but around like rounds 3, 4, he should have like tried that more. Considering at that point he was losing the fight, he should have like used his explosivity to try to get up, especially considering, especially after being down 2 rounds at least, and then 3 rounds going around in round 4, where he's gonna have to try to get up because Joaquin Buckley is not gonna pull a submission off his back. That's just not Joaquin's game. Joaquin's gonna have to win by striking. In the striking exchanges, like I said, he won the striking exchanges, even though he didn't. There were some punches that Usman was able to get out the way of. That if he had landed, probably done more damage to Usman. But Usman striking is not the best. And it's never been the best. In this fight, Usman didn't really do much in the striking department, except like a jab and maybe a right, like an overhand right. I mean, outside of that, Usman didn't really land a lot of shots in this fight in the striking department. In round 5, Joaquin did land several times, and Usman did a good job with his punches. Did very well and landed some good shots, but it was too little, too late. Kamaru Usman wins this fight in a good performance by him. Now, it was not the most entertaining fight. Let's not act like this was super entertaining. I mean, it has moments, but it wasn't like, come on. Kamaru Usman, it's not like Kamaru Usman was passing guard, doing like a bunch of ground and pound. Outside of round 1, he didn't throw any good ground and pound in top position. Let's be honest. And he didn't go. It's not like he went for submissions. It'd be one thing if he was doing those things on top position, doing good ground, very good ground and pound, going for submissions and changing and advancing guard. If he had done those things in on top position, I would have really been praising Usman. Really would have been doing it, but he didn't do that. So I'm not gonna go out of my way and go, oh my goodness, he's back, the king. Oh, Usman's the man. I'm not gonna do that. It was a good performance by Kamaru Usman. I'll give him credit. He did what he had to do to win. Good job on Usman. Very impressive on in terms of gaining a victory after being gone for so long and being older too. But Joaquin, man, gotta work on your wrestling takedown defense and getting up because you looked horrible, especially first couple of rounds. In the fifth round, he looked good to his takedown defense. Now, the more I think about it, it might have been because Usman was maybe a little bit more tired, and maybe that's why he was able to stuff takedowns more easily. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know. All I know is he has to work on that. Really work on his takedown defense getting up because it didn't look good. Like I said, the Covington fight took him a while to get up from being taken down by Kobe. And this is a Kobe Covington, by the way, who took that fight in December on short notice. It wasn't like a full train can Kobe. That's something people need to talk. People forgot. And it took Buckley a while to get up from those takedowns. And here against Usman, he looked like a fish out of water when the grappling exchanges. So he needs to really work on that if he really wants to be a true contender welterweight, especially since you got Brady and you have Shavkat, you guys like that, and even Bilal. But Bilal's older, but still, Bilal might be around. Who knows? Probably not, but still. Anyway, speaking of Bilal, we need Usman Bilal. That's what we need because Kamaru Usman and Bilal went back and forth on the podcast that they've never released that Usman does with Henry Cejudo. Bilal said that he freaking people were saying Bilal was saying that he freaking I think maybe Usman cried or something and they got an exchange and Cejudo said they got really contested between the two of them and Kamaru Usman doing this whole thing acting like he doesn't know who Bilal is and try and skip to the title fight off of one victory is ridiculous. Kamaru Usman does not deserve a title fight off of one victory. He needs to fight Bilal who's ahead of him, who's a former champ himself. That's the fight to make. That's the fight we need to see. That's the fight we all want to see because the bad blood and plus it makes sense for Usman. If he beats Bilal Muhammad, then Usman can get a title fight. That would make sense, and that's keeps the welterweight division moving. As we know, Jack Dillman is going to fight Islam Makhachev. Now, if those two were to fight, I think Bilal wins because what I saw from Usman, I don't see him being someone like Bilal, in my opinion. I still think Usman loses to. I don't know why I say still. Let me phrase that. I think Usman beats Jack Del Molina, and I think Brady beats Usman. Not just me, but hey, good performance by Kamaru. Anyway, that's my review. This went longer than I expected. Damn, I want to keep it. I thought it was gonna be shorter, but I did want to keep it short. But hey, that's my review. Yeah, I hope the UFC card in Azerbaijan and Baku looks better and should be better. Hopefully, because this main card was terrible. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, listening, and give this video a thumbs up. I'll see you guys next time. And obviously I'm going to do a video previewing UFC Baku in Azerbaijan, which by the way looks beautiful based on the visuals they show on the UFC broadcast. But yeah, I'll be watch out for that video, and I'll see you guys next time.